You're listening to the PPL Podcast. Now for your host, Darren Perkey.
What is up, everybody? It is Darren Perkey here, PPL Podcast, episode number 6. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about lead pricing, how to determine your leads, what to do with that whole process of overquoting, underquoting, how that works, and I'm really kind of excited. So let's jump into it. So this question comes from Eric Bloom, and it says, how to determine the lead price for a prospect without under or overquoting. I have tried Brian Burt's formula, but I find it doesn't work too often. For example, I was quoting pest control lead pricing for a prospect for $100 per lead. I later found out that I'd be lucky, quote unquote, to get $30 per lead. Same thing with electrical repair leads. I was overquoting and found out from others doing PPL that you'd be lucky to get $20 per lead. Thank you for considering my question. Good luck in your new podcast. Thank you so much. And the other one is very similar to that one. This is from Mark, and he says, "Hey Darren, thanks for the content so far. Looking forward to this new show. I have a few questions for you coming from my perspective of having the partner acquisition kind of sorted out, but struggling with fulfillment. Number one, when prospecting a new partner who is interested in PPL, how do you effectively price the leads? And when it's a new industry, I know you're currently in legal only, but what if you weren't? I have inbound requests from business owners looking for PPL, so I'll look at the PPC keyword cost times by 10 as a guess, but often that's way out. Same with volume estimates. And number two, could you share your process and pathway from onboarding to delivering your first lead? Yeah, this is something I won't cover that today, but I'll cover the first part, obviously. That might be something we do in the future. We call it the WOW service, week over week. I'll definitely get into that in the future. And then any plans to do business mentoring in the future. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and jump back into that first question. Once I get back into that section that I just accidentally X'd out of. So basically the idea here is pricing. So how do you price your leads, all that good stuff. So it really kind of, there's a couple ways to do it. And I think a lot of people kind of misconstrue what PPL is and why you can't get more than $30 for a lead. So there's no way that a pest control lead is worth less than $100. They're always worth more than that. They're worth a lot more than that in theory. So I'll give you a quick example. So I have a company called Hewlett, H-U-L-E-T-T. I think it's bugs.com is their site. Let me just double check. I think it's bugs.com. Yeah, Hewlett. Yeah, it's bugs.com. Those guys are really cool. So down here in Florida. And I pay $80. I think it's every 2 months. So it's like, I think it's $40 a month. But I pay every 2 months. Okay. But the initial exam / service was like $280. So how is that lead not worth $100 or more? Because the lifetime value, I have aunts in Florida. They're going to get them. It's part of living in Florida. But you can control the nesting of them. Like you're gonna get them still. You're never not gonna have them, but you can control the nesting so it's not so much, right? So it's not exorbitant amount. So I mean, just think about it, right? So $80 every 2 months, so it's 6 months of $80, right? And then plus your $250. You're talking about $500, $600, $700 for a year. How is that not worth $100? Plus you have other services come out and redo stuff. You have different things you can sell, traps, all that stuff too in your servicing. So those are worth some money. Now, the problem happens is not so much the pricing of the leads, it's how you're selling the leads. And so I'm going to refer back to my linking pitch. I have a whole entire blog post and a video on my main YouTube channel of how to do this. I'll put a link in the description here on YouTube and also on Facebook, which is now facebook.com/PPL podcast, which is very cool. We got our URL for that yesterday. And also, what do you guys think about the new intro? I just tried a little something different out, I hope you guys like it. Let me know. So what happens is if you go in and say, hey, I have leads, what happens is the people who are buying the leads from you are comparing you to everybody else's lead price. And you can't do that, right? Because you have exclusive leads, you're doing a lot of things. You're comparing your Ferrari to a Ford because you're saying, hey, I have a car for sale. You're not saying you're not going into the higher end side of it. What's the difference between a Ferrari and a Ford? Right? You can say, oh, well, one's handcrafted, one's whatever. They're both cars. They both have 4 tires. They both have engines. They both get you from A to B. Right? What's the difference? one's premium, one's not premium. You have a premium service. Be a premium service, right? So this is where I think a lot of people confuse lead gen, or they have lead providing versus PPL. PPL is not really necessarily lead gen. It's just how you get paid, right? In my particular PPL model, I do AdWords. I do some SEO obviously, but most of it's AdWords, or what we call paid traffic, right? So our paid side is really what we're offering, and the PPL, which is the pay per lead, is how we're getting paid, right? I'm getting paid on the results of the marketing efforts that I'm putting in. It's really marketing arbitrage. Again, credit to Brian Burt for kind of coining the phrase pay per lead. So the idea being that if you're going to go from one extreme of I have a website that's generating leads, and I'm doing lead stuff, and you just sell leads off and do whatever. You just don't want to be compared to those, right? That extreme of commodity versus premium service. So we always position ourselves as a premium service that happens to get paid on the result of that, which is pay per lead. This is a payment model versus an actual process. So to make that kind of a distinction of what at least what I consider PPL. So when it comes to pricing your leads, it helps to have that frame of mind when you're going into it. So if even SEO in theory, right? It doesn't. It's not free, but it does cost you money. It costs you website stuff, costs you time and effort, reporting, all that stuff, right? So it does cost you money and effort. But for the most part, those are relatively inexpensive. That doesn't mean that lead is less or more valuable, right? Or less valuable because it's cheaper to get it, right? What matters is that your value of the lead is what the lifetime value of a customer would be if they were to close, and then some variation of that. So as an example, going to one of the questions about mentoring, we have a high-end mentoring program. It's not really mentoring, it's really coaching, and now it's done for you. We just kind of revamped the whole thing. We ran it for 6 months, did really well with it, and now we're noticing that a lot of people are having time issues with implementing everything that we're teaching. So now the new version of this program is going to be coaching, but a lot of it is going to be, let me set up an entire business for you and then give it to you. So that's what we're starting with what's called PPL Profits. So we currently don't have the videos out for that yet. We're shooting those here in the next coming week or so. But the idea is that a portion of your money goes towards the actual coaching when we kind of follow everything, but the vast majority of your fee now goes towards running your AdWords campaigns, running Craigslist, getting Clerk's account, getting Jensen account when that comes out, and then kind of really building your program. So, but as far as pricing goes, you have to test. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where it's like lesson learned. This is why I agree with so much with niching down. So niching down is a principle that you kind of do just one industry, you become a pro at that one industry. That's why I do personal injury so well. Like I know I can get leads through AdWords for personal injury for less than $250. Like that's on the high end. Even when the campaign first starts, I can run that at $250. And so that's a worst case scenario. I'm charging my leads at $375. So even if I go a little bit higher on accident a couple times, $300, I still have room there, right? Now that person can go to FindLaw or Avo, which is those are like lawyer marketing companies, and buy leads for $115, $130, $145. If I went into that conversation and I said, "Hey, I have leads for you at $375 per lead," I'd be laughed out of the room. So you can't do that. You can't go in there and say I have leads at a premium. If everybody else is paying $25 for lead, in your example for the pest control, if they're paying $25, you go with $100, you're gonna get laughed at. But what you have to do is offer a service and become an expert, quote unquote, in there. And that's where I think a lot of people, at least from the sales side, I think have an issue with that. So, just something to think about. So back to the other question was, when prospecting a partner who's interested in people, how do you effectively price the leads? So the PPC thing, yeah. So what I'll tend to do, the first couple of partners you might get might be crappy as far as payouts go, but I'm willing to pay a premium and lose a little bit of money per se to get that done. So if you go to sell a premium service and then offer to get paid by the lead, so pay per lead, then you have a little wiggle room there first of all. But even if you accidentally sell them something for under the amount underneath what it's actually worth, remember this is a partnership, so at any time that can be dissolved. You're not being paid $6,000 a month to run a campaign for them and not getting them results. You're going to get them results. You might be losing on your end, but now you'll have data, right? So, I always, whatever the industry average is, you're hearing people say, just triple that number. That's pretty much a good rule of thumb. Somebody else says, I can get $50 per lead. Okay, then charge $150 if you can. We have guys who are doing roofing stuff and saying, I get $75 per lead, but we have guys getting $200 on the first call. Like, it's not hard to get that. It's how you position your business. So it really kind of depends on all that kind of stuff too, right? It's kind of a thought process there. I don't have a formula for it. I know people use. The guy was talking about Brian Britt's formula. I'm not opposed to that. I think that's fine. Listen, I think those that number is realistic. It's just how you sell it, right? If you wanted to go in there and get a good mean average, or a good average of what the PPC is, what the cost per click is, in a particular what would be in theory be an ad group, and get an average pricing, and then multiply that and then divide it, whatever. I don't forget the whole formula, but even if it's a premium, like, listen, a personal injury leads can be worth $1,000 a piece if you qualify them right and you set yourself up right. In California, you can get $750 for a lead if you do it right. That's like mass tort leads, right? Mass tort leads, we get $1,500 for mass tort leads, and then $4,500 for certain ones. Certain ones that are harder to get and it costs more to derive from. To get more out there, billboards, TV ads, radio, stuff like that. So it all depends on how you position your business before you sell a lead. If you're just selling leads, you are a commodity. Everybody's selling leads. Everybody. So I definitely recommend you take that video is like 45 minutes long. It's probably a 45 minute read, maybe an hour long read on that blog post. I think it's called How to Get More Money Per Lead. I think it's what it is. It's on PPL Profits website. But starting in January, so later this month, I guess 4 days from now, PPL Profits is transitioning a little bit more into, it's going to have coaching still. Obviously, we have 20-something hours of coaching training videos, in there, and you have a weekly call with us, which won't change. I'll still be there. So you're just getting more value, I guess. But what it is, though, is we're taking a portion of the fee that you pay and running your AdWords campaigns, including the ad spend, right? So plus the management fee, all that stuff is included. Building out sites for you, running Craigslist ad for you, getting your call center set up, and then basically have that up and running and then hand it over to you. That's kind of what that whole business model is going to be moving forward. So that's that. But pricing is difficult, man. I don't have here's an exact science, because even at that though, right? Because think about it, like personal injury in, Coleman, Alabama versus personal injury in Los Angeles is even different priced, Always err on the side of being higher. Just go higher. It's okay. But you have to do that through authority. You have to build your authority by knowing the terminology, knowing what to say, knowing what to do. I actually have a niching down video that I did a while back, maybe a year ago or so. I'll link that in the description here as well. So I'll put 2 down there. I'll put the niching down video and also the how to get more money per lead. But those 2 things really work well, and they have a lot of guys selling their services like that. In the beginning when you're first starting out, it's okay to sell a lead for dirt cheap. You just don't want to do them for free, right? So even if you got $25 for a pest control lead or whatever it was, that's okay. Like, it's okay to get that, just to get the numbers. Now you have data. And even if you spent a couple $1,000 of your own money to get to the point where you understood what the actual value of that lead is, you'll see in the thinking pitch how I position that, and then I charge a premium. And then I said, listen, well, I'll put all the ad spend in, and then you just get a fee for it. So that might not make a whole lot of sense for you who haven't heard that yet, but definitely go check that video out. Check out that blog post, because that does explain it all, exactly what it is that we do in there. So there's some of that. But the idea here is that the pricing that you do, it's flexible. I mean, don't feel like you need to have, this is always the price for leads, because remember, you're a premium service, and pay per lead is how you get paid, not what you do, right? You do SEO, or you do Craigslist posting, or you do AdWords, but your business model is pay per lead, not what you actually do. So hope that makes sense. But yeah, that's it. All right, guys, listen, I hope you enjoyed the episode today. Let me know if you like the new intro with this a little bit different, trying to spice it up, get a little bit more, whatever. We're going to have interviews and stuff pretty soon. If you guys have questions, obviously put them in the comment section here or on Facebook. I'll definitely get to them. And I will go over that WOW service, which is the onboarding that Mark had asked, but not yet. There's a couple of things we got to finish up first that I want to get to before we do that. But just remember, pricing is all about positioning. It's not so much like like I said, the Ferrari and Ford syndrome. It's like or example, not syndrome. He said, I have a Ford syndrome. That's probably it sounds like a real thing. But it's how you position your company. And if you go into there selling leads, you're not going to sell leads at a good price. You're a commodity at that point. So just know that. All right. Thanks guys for listening. I'll see you on the next episode of the PPL podcast. I'll see you guys later. Bye.